Welcome, guys, to this week's episode of Heavy Metal Tones with me, your podcast host, Tony Evans. This is a great episode that I'm really glad to bring you. It was a chat that I've been trying to get for the last 3 years to get Savage Master on my show, to have a chat with them. I'm a big fan, as it will come across in the show, I'm sure. Their new album, which I got to listen to, which is going to talk about, this is what this episode is about, is an absolute cracker. There is a little bit of internet dropout here and there when Adam speaks, but I have tried to clear it up as best I can. It's only a few seconds here and there. I hope that you enjoy the show, that you listen to Savage Master chat, and then go and listen to their back catalogue, because it is a cracking back catalogue, and I really do say thank you for them coming on. I really appreciated their time. It's hard to schedule these things from the other side of the world, and it's always good when these things do come together. Anyway, enjoy the show. That's me. Enough of me nattering. Remember, patreon.com/heavy metal tones, no ads, and you'll get to watch this video interview as well. Anyway, bye for now. Enjoy the interview. Hi Tony, hi Adam, hi Stacey. Take it away. Guys, Adam and Stacey, how you going?
All good? Good. How are you doing? Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you. It's a bit cold here. Like, it's meant to be summer, but winter's arrived for the day, so I've got to wear a jacket. Right?
Quite cold here.
I bet it is. Hey, this is a real thrill for me, because I've been following you for a long time, probably since just after the first album. Oh, and so, like, to get you on here is just fantastic, because the new album, which we'll talk about in a minute, is something fantastic, really good. Like,
thank you.
Oh, thanks, man.
Oh man, it's crazy good. But for the listeners that may have not know you, want to give us a little bit of a history of yourselves?
Yeah. So we started in 2013. Our first album was Mask of the Devil. We've we've toured a lot since then, played a lot of fests, and just keep pushing them out every year or two. So
yeah,
brilliant. You're sort of an occult. I don't like putting things in barriers and in boxes, because it limits people, I think. But you're an occult, sort of themed, horror themed, classic metal band. I'd like to say that. Right out of the gate, it's like this being back teenager again, listening to your music, because it's complicated, but not not 18-minute songs. It's just youthful and fun. Yeah. You just seem to bring such a joy for your medium to the albums, and I'm sure to live as well. Yeah. It's not. Yeah. Stacey, particularly your voice. Oh yeah. I got your voice just pulled me in, Stacey. I have to admit, like.
Oh, thank you.
Really did, because it was raw. It was raw, and it was just something different to what I'd heard all those years ago. It was all it was something mystical almost about it, in a weird way, like quite.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it's only got better. Over the albums, you've just grown as a band. Like, the sound, if you go from your first album and your EPs to this new one, it's chalk and cheese almost. Like the
big difference. It's a big jump.
Big jump. Yeah.
It's been a building.
Yeah. And you can hear that. You can hear that in the riffs that are being made, the vocal lines, the lyrics. It all seems to be coming to like maturing, if that's the right word. I don't know if it's the right word. Okay. So I need a tea. It's bloody cold. So you had a few albums out now. Mark of the Devil, With Whips and Chains, Myth and Magic Steel, Those Who Hunt at Night, which I loved, by the way. I thought that was your best album to date, and then this one came along, which comes out I believe in March. Is that right?
That's always good to hear.
Yeah. I was so I was so nervous to listen to it, because when you love a band as much, You go, I want to make sure, and then you put it on and you go, yeah, man, that's pretty special, right?
True.
And is it going down well live? Some of the material? Are you playing it live?
Well, yeah.
About a year, we do Devil Rock and we do Never Ending Fire.
Yeah.
Coming up this tour cycle, we'll be doing a lot more. We'll probably do 4 songs total from the album to push.
Brilliant.
It. But we've been doing it. It goes over pretty well. Devil Rock connects with the audience pretty instantly.
Yeah, well, it's a great track. It's
Yeah, they can sing along to it very easily.
Yeah. Yeah. They catch on very quick.
Yeah, I mean, they would do. I mean, your fans are, they love you as you are. Like, I think for those that would not, I urge anyone who's listening to this or will watch this video to go and watch some of your YouTube videos, because your live performances are unreal. Like, so fun and so outrageous at the same time. Like it's something that the American audience are very lucky to have, because we play mainly in the States and in Europe. But yeah, you have to see it to believe it, listeners. You've got to see it, because how you don't
put a lot of work into that.
Yeah. I was going to say, how you don't lose all your body weight in that in the heat of those lights, those costumes.
I assume I would be a much larger man.
That's the best diet control, right? Just thrash out a lot in a costume and a covering of your face, and you go for it, right?
Yeah. It's like a weight loss torture program.
Yeah. Do you know also what I loved about it? One thing I noticed, because I'm of a certain age where I've listened to a lot of music, right? Okay. And I really got in, and I don't want this comparison, and please, I'm not comparing you to this band, but I like showmanship. Okay. We've all been to gigs where, it's all technical. You watch them go, oh my God. And I'm that person. I'm a guitar nerd. I'll watch people just the way they play, But there's something about showmanship. And you came about at a time when I used to really be into Ghost, right? I really liked early Ghost. Really loved it. And it was something I was looking for. It was like Merciful Fate, but, it was just something different. And then they sort of sold themselves out. Now, I don't want to go down that road. I've already been chastised for that one and my views. But you came along and sort of brought it back. I put your video on. I was like, hey, this is what it should be. This is it, right? Gallows humor. Right?
That's right.
Yeah. Some real like horror movie buff stuff. Like people who really like the Gates of Hell, man. Credit to you, man. Lucio Fulci movies. I ask people about them. They go straight over their heads, right?
It's one of my favorite all-time movies.
I love it, mate. That and House by the Cemetery. It's got to be one of my favorite movies. I'm often
Gates of Hell.
Scared
the shit out of me when I was a kid. Just
mate.
Me to death as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
God. From the very opening sequence with the hanging.
Oh yes.
It's like, it's terrified.
Yeah. And it's beautifully shot for a director who doesn't like who made things on the cheap. He shot some beautiful movies. He's not Dario Argento, but
what he was doing.
Yeah, that's right. So you bring those themes into your music, right? Because I mean, it's tough to pick a track that I love the most, but I think Ripper in Black is nice. An absolute banger. Like I was just going through them all this morning. So
Ripper in Black started it for all.
Yeah,
that's what it started for us.
Brilliant.
That track got us attention, a record label, and got us out there.
Well, do you know what exactly? Because it's like your music is sing along, it's catchy, it's memorable, and again, your voice is Stacey is just. There's something about your. I don't want to bring you up because it's that, but genuinely, Stacey, it's something that because when you listen to so much music, guitars become guitars, drums become drums. To bring you into a band, the voice really has to grab you, and the image and the whole persona, and it drew me. It was like, yep, okay, I'm in. I signed up to the cult. I'll sign up to the cult. I'm there. Like it was.
Well, thank you very much.
No, but and over the albums, it has really changed. Like listening to the new album, which comes out in March, which is the new one. I really thought that your vocals have matured. I don't know whether it's the production has changed or you're changing, but the voice has really become that little extra depth to it. Is it production or was it a deliberate?
Some of it's production, but also some of it was the amount of time we took working on this album.
Yeah.
We had the longest gap in between albums that we've ever had. For a while, it seemed like we were just cranking them out, one right after another. Every year and a half, we were coming out with a new album. We took a good break from this one, and we worked on it. We demoed it a bunch. She sang it over and over again. She worked on it more than we've ever worked on any of them. I think that really bore the fruit of what you hear now, along with the production being quite a bit better as well.
And just the songwriting expanding as well.
Songwriting expanded, a lot more time spent on writing, lyrical delivery.
Because I
really worked hard on.
Yeah, well, and it shows because if you listen to Hunt at Night, the songs are much more pared back, I think, and not as frantic maybe as the previous albums. And this album has that another feel of that as well. Like, I don't often write notes in red pencil, but when I write notes in red pencil, it means I really like it, right? And the track listing on it is fantastic. It's just wonderful. It's a great mix. Like, I always like to finish an album on a song that I really will remember, because they've got to remember it, right? And I think Cold Hearted Death is just I would have put that as a single. I think I know that people are talking about love, like the sort of love song that you've got in there. But I think Cold Hearted Death is the winner on the album, because you end on it, you finish and you go, God, what? There shouldn't be another one, like Oh dear. Because I mean, what we got you got some. I'm looking at the track listing here. Like Devil Rocks is a crowd favorite. I'm sure, as you said, it's going to be a crowd favorite coming through, right? Screams from the Cellar, again, great. I've written, where's the video? Because I think it'd be great for a video for that one.
That's a song I think. That's a song that kind of expands our sound slightly. It's a little more and a little extra than what we've done before. The beat is kind of a little, or I don't want to say danceable, but it's got a certain groove to it that we haven't experimented with before.
Yes, and
Stacey's vocals also have a lot of different textures.
They do, yeah. And I've written groove. I mean, must have written groovy probably 10 times on my notes. But I Never Want to Fall in Love. That's the one that everyone's sort of loving at the moment. I read all the sort of album reviews, and they say this is the banger on the album. Now, I think I agree, but I still like Cold Death. I think that's just like Cold Hearted Death ends the album just superbly. But I mean, it's so textured, guys. You've really created a product, and not just the music within the product, but the actual packaging is getting I love the DIY aspect of the first albums. I loved it. I said, I'll show you before, I've got them here. I absolutely love them, right? Wonderful. But then you get the later one, the last one, and it's you can see that, that it has a real value for money package feel to it, like it's really thought out.
I agree.
There was that one there.
I enjoyed doing the fantasy cover art. I like that, but for as of Hunt at Night, especially Hunt at Night, I wanted to bring more of the 70s kind of horror vibe, the way the posters looked in the 70s, and also there's a lot of 60s and 70s occult magazines.
Oh yes.
Books, books, especially in magazines, they have this certain look with them where they'll have a solid color but a photo and the text. And I really wanted to started bringing that idea in as our new look. I know some people want us to have the fantasy covers, but to me, I love the photographs and I love that kind of old occult vibe that the photographs give.
I think you're right. Well, it brings, because as the band is growing and its sound is becoming maturing and slightly changing, I think it's a good way of having that sort of cornerstone and go, well, yeah, that's this, and this is now.
Oh yeah.
And I think that, yeah, I think it's a good way of underlying the difference, because I mean, I just did a review just an episode on Coven, and I was looking at their cover, and I thought, there's a connection there. Like I can see that.
There's definitely a connection
Yeah.
there. Absolutely. And Jinx is on the beginning of Devil Rock. That's her voice. Jinx.
Is it really?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
I did. It wasn't in the notes. Absolutely. Sorry. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. It's okay.
How good is that?
Yeah, it is.
That's her speak.
That's her.
Oh my God! I'm just writing that down. It's fantastic. Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know why I don't know whether it was in the notes or I missed it, but I didn't see it, and I was like, oh. I just assumed it. I didn't even.
Not really a more important. There's not a more important album.
No, there isn't.
That really sets off the strong female presence.
Yeah.
Everything about that was massive.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. That's what I said on the show. I said it on the show. It's to me, it's actually more important than Black Sabbath. A long way.
It really is.
Yeah,
definitely.
But for some things, obviously, yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, did you see the set lineup for the last Sabbath tour concert?
We were talking about some of this earlier. I seen that Ozzy's on.
Yeah, he's doing bugger all.
I don't know.
They didn't tell anyone until They didn't tell anyone until he bought all the tickets, sold the tickets out, of course.
Yeah, I feel like let the.
Yeah.
Oh well, that aside, when you get that famous, you can do what you want. I reckon that's, you know what I mean. That's right. So obviously, lots of touring coming for the album and for the promotion, and it's selling fast. I'm sure it's. I mean, I did my pre-order. That was the first thing I did that morning. Pre-order, all coloured vinyl plus cassette. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We just need to get you over here. We need to get you to tour down under sometime because, the clubs here and the metal scene here is just perfect for you. People, they love that.
Take it there.
Yeah, they get it, man. They get it,
We love it.
We definitely will.
Yeah, I'm sure if you look at your downloads, there's probably a few to come out from this country. So,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We're so far away. It's like Canada. It's so isolated. they just love it when you get here.
Yeah.
Oh dear. So I want to ask. What got you into? I mean, I know that Adam, you've been in many bands, playing lots of guitar for quite a long time. But Stacey, this was your first band, was it not?
Yeah. It was my first band.
Yeah.
Like what got me into singing or what got me into the whole thing. Yeah. Ever since I was a young kid, I got into singing. I don't really remember when I started, but my dad listened to like classic rock and like Heart and stuff like that. I would sing along with that. And then I did choir in high school. And then I kind of just, I don't know, I just got this, for me, some of the roughest times in my life, the things that meant most to me was having something to listen to get me through it. So I felt like a deep connection with music, and I felt like, this is something I really want to do. And I don't know, I just had some kind of vision in my head of doing it. And I lived in Tennessee, and I moved up to Kentucky and with a friend, and then I started looking for a band, and I was actually about to give up, and then Adam and I connected on Facebook, actually, of all places. Yeah, and
she sent me
Starbreaker by
Judas Priest.
Brilliant.
We can do.
We had similar ideas for.
Yeah, I had been writing some material at the time. I really wanted to do that, and then hearing her demo that, I thought, we can show. And there was nothing in Kentucky, especially going on like this at all. There's no bands like that.
I can't imagine now. Yeah, there are a few now. That's not a few from Kentucky. Yeah, that's right.
But not. That was the toughest part, was getting people to do it.
Yeah.
I wanted to actually that kind of music.
Yeah. And how did you come about the image?
Trying to think of something that we could do that would make us stand out further and get us more attention than just being a normal jeans and t-shirt band, which is something I didn't want to do.
Yeah, we wanted to put on a show, and we wanted to
show, and we were into King Diamond and stuff like that. And we thought, do something that's really
Yeah. Exactly.
We need something that's like more. It's extra, you know. We both were fans of this movie called Black Sunday with Barbara Steele.
Love it.
Bob's Black.
Love it.
And that was the original inspiration for the whole.
Yeah.
I knew it connected because I love Black Sunday. I saw it when I was about 8 or 9 years old with my father, because my father used to let us watch horror movies late with him because he didn't like watching them on his own. And it was the 70s, you know, in the 80s. We were wild then. They're just a free range kids, and so they would put us up. They'd say, "Stay up and watch this with me. I don't want to watch it on my own." Like Devil Rides Out and things like that. Hammer movies. I mean, I must have watched every Hammer movie doubled over. You know, they're bringing out another one now, apparently. So,
Hammer,
yeah. Oh yeah.
The new Hammer.
Yeah, new Hammer, which I'm a bit worried about because I want it to be cheesy.
The poster, but we'll see.
Yeah, I've only seen the poster as well. But yeah, so that must have been unusual for then where you are then. If you're in a town that, and let's be honest, it probably is a jeans and t-shirt town, right? City.
Yeah.
And so, you know, good old boys and things. So to take that to the stages was brave for you guys because, you know, it must have been even difficult.
People will love it, one or the other. You know?
But at least they'll be talking about it.
At least everybody's going to be talking about it.
Mate, well, I remember the first time I saw one of your videos. I think it was for your second single. I think it was. Anyway, I remember just forwarding it to my mate, everyone on YouTube, going, "See this? You got to see this. That's just amazing." Because, you know, as I said before earlier, there's something about heavy metal or heavy rock in general, it has a sense of drama and a sense of theatrics to it, like Judas Priest, like Iron Maiden. Like, you know, it can be played jeans and t-shirt. You're absolutely correct, but I think the audiences like if you're going to sing dark themes, don't turn up in a t-shirt and jeans. You know what I mean? Like,
it makes a lot more sense if you're playing the part.
Yeah,
for your audience.
It is. It does.
You look like someone who should be singing about this, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's why always
look like you just got off work, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's why That's why I never. I mean, I hate to say this, but I was never a big Kiss fan because they looked like demons, but they sang about loving you all night long, baby. It was like. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. That doesn't. I can't connect. Because some of those bands, I mean, you know, there are some of those bands in the world that you go and see that do genuinely scare you live. Like I've seen some bands live that you sort of walk in, ooh, you know, like some of the extreme black metal bands. You come and go, wonderful, but I think I might need to go into church now. Like that kind of even I don't do that. But with you, there's a sense of playfulness in the love for the theme. You know, the lyrics are dark and personal in these last two albums. I read some much more personal ideas inside the lyrics for this album, but they're still playful. They're still not, you know, they're not over the top, which I think suits your guitar style, particularly your guitar style, Adam. I just love that V that you have. I cherish your flying V. I watched the video. Oh, I want that guitar. God, because you're such a tall man. It looks like a tiny thing in your hands.
I'm a bit tall.
Me, I'm tiny.
Large.
I'm so small. I'm a bass player. My fingers barely get the. So, with the band, I mean, you've had a few changes, you know, in the actual band itself. Are you sort of more stable now for the tour?
We're at a real stable point.
Yeah.
We have everything's working out. Everybody's committed to do it. It's important to everybody in the band. So.
Brilliant. And that's what
but, you know, yeah, life happens. People come and go. We haven't had very many, only a few bad experiences with members, mostly all positive. People have come and gone on their own, you know, volition and on goodwill for real reasons in their lives. Nothing crazy.
Yeah.
But the guys we have now are the most solid we've had. Definitely the best lineup, and I think it shows in the album too.
Yeah.
It does. It really, really, really does. I keep saying this, but it's so polished. I mean, but not. You haven't lost that punky. New wave of British heavy metal feel. You know, you put it on, yeah, exactly right. Because that's one of the things that draws again a lot of us to you is that rawness that we used to get, that KK Downing kind of chops. You know, it does remind me of Diamond Head, and
we listen to that. That's what we listen to. That's what we like. That's what I'm searching for too. Is the riffs with a punk energy and kind of a, you know, the youthful energy of that kind of metal that I remember.
Yes, yes, that sort of DIY ethic that came across then. That was sort of, you know, everything on Neat Records, everything on Bronze, you know, all those bands like Venom, and where it was. I don't care if I can't do it. I'm gonna have a go and see what happens, kind of. And such wonderful things are made from that because they're not holding the energy back. And I think you both. I mean, you should be so proud of what you've done because it's up there. Like I said, Coven. I bloody love Coven so much. And then I can easily go Witchfind, Coven, Savage Master in the same listing day, and it would not skip a beat going from one to the other.
Awesome.
And
Witchfind fans.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking love Witchfind.
That's great
man.
stuff.
Oh my God! Give them hell. I can't stop. Oh, it's gold, mate. Even I just got a copy because my old copy of Cloak and Dagger was absolutely buggered, so I got a new copy of Cloak and Dagger, and it's even that one is a cracker as well. You think?
Yeah, I love it.
Very good.
Yeah.
Handful of albums, not many, right? And it's gold like yours. I said, you know, your back catalogue, you know, if you say to people, I'm telling listeners, go and listen, it's not going to take them weeks and weeks. You know, they'll get there and they'll fall in love within the first couple of tracks. You know, Stacey, honestly, I'm trying to think of the one that always, like, where is it? Sorry, Spirit of Death, right? Spirit of Death. Oh, wonderful! Satan's Crown, Call of the Master. I love all that stuff, mate. It's just when you hear Savage Master, you hear the DNA. You hear it. You know, even from the early albums and the early EPs right through to this, there's still the DNA. There's still, even though it's more polished and it's more mature. There's the DNA. The Adam's guitar. I could tell your guitar style. Every time it's got that real sort of freedom in it, you know. And it's not, it feels like it's all headbanging music. I wrote that. It's such a moving music, you know. Like I love technical prog metal, don't get me wrong, I love it, but you sit there and sort of go you know, 18 million notes at me, wow, love it. But there's something, you know, the 16-year-old in me wants to go to the gig and just thrash around, even though I'm well in my 50s. I just want to go and do that. You know, I just want to let the hair down and get into the move, into the moment. And your music, you know, it really does do that. You know, I was listening to. I haven't got my glasses. That's how old I am. Look at that. Right. Oh my God. Myth, Magic, and Steel. Now, the opening track on that. It's again, you've really good anthemaic songs. You make good anthem songs. Do you write those, or do they just come that way?
You might come up with one in one setting, and you might have to work months on one. You never know. But I always think that it's important that you have, you know, a strong verse and a strong chorus. A memorable chorus is very important to me personally.
Yes.
I like a lot of rock music, a lot of pop music. I like a lot of heavy metal. And what I'm looking for in all that is a memorable chorus, something that catches me and makes me want to sing along. You know, always been important.
Yeah,
always. Punk music too. Like that's a great thing about punk music is a lot of the songs have very catchy phrases and then that stick in your head, and that's always been something very important to me in writing for Savage Master.
Brilliant, because that's exactly what I look for. And that's why I'm a punk from way back, and that's the love of it, is that energy and sing along, and nothing goes for too long. You're not there for 12 minutes. Although if you wrote a 12-minute song, I'd be there for you. But you can sort of get so much in on a live show that way. People can really taste your catalog, and your voice won't get overly destroyed. I can't imagine.
Right. And the bands, and this is not knocking anybody or anything, the bands, and I'll watch and I'll just feel it memorable. See some bands, and you'll know the names of the songs by the end of the show. You'll know a song or two. They connect with you. It's memorable, and the way it's done is you catch the lyric and you catch the melody and you remember it, and you're going home and you remember it and you want to buy the album.
Yes.
I see a lot of bands that don't do that now. That's of things, whatever. But for me, always what I'm looking for.
You know why? Because you're writing music for the audience and yourself. Obviously, you're writing for people. Whereas a lot of some of this really other stuff, they're writing sort of pseudo intellectually for themselves, which is lovely. Don't get me wrong, because I love prog, I really do. But there's a point where you lose the energy, you lose the youthfulness, the fun, the excitement, the exploration of it, because the band audiences will just stand there and look.
I always think in some way I'm trying to recapture like how I felt when I heard this music as a kid.
Yeah.
When I first heard Wasp or even early Metallica, the songs really connected with you, and you remembered the lyrics like almost instantly. Iron Maiden, didn't have to think about it or work to understand it. You heard something like 2 Minutes to Midnight or something like that. That's a catchier, poppier song. There's no way you weren't going to remember this song.
No, absolutely. It's there, and that's why they make
it was in your head.
Yeah. I mean, we've all done it.
I mean,
yeah. I grew up with I've got 5 brothers, and I've got 5 brothers, and they all had different musical tastes. So I'd wander around the house, going to each of their bedrooms, stealing their records. It was like a reggae or pop or prog or heavy metal, which is what I got into, heavy rock and classical, and you got to sort of understand the differences behind it, and you do. You just love a good sing-along moment. That was me, standing in front of the mirror with my hairbrush, or my tennis racket, pretending I'm Eric Clapton. Yeah, because don't you really want in your mind? Don't you really want to be back that time when you're 16 and just imagining? Well, you're living the moment. You're musicians, so I shouldn't say. But me, I go back. I mean, in my bedroom with my singles. I could afford one single, and I put it on and play it till it went thin.
There's the better that recaptures that feeling, that brings that out in you, that exciting feeling of a new song you really love.
Yeah.
That's really to me, that's where it's at. And I'm always searching for new music songs and different catches, because it brings me back to my initial point of when I found what I liked about music.
It also makes performing really fun because you can connect with the audience. There's nothing better than when we have a song that we're like, this is a new song, nobody's heard this, and we go out like Devil Rock and people start singing it by the second verse, like singing the chorus. It's like we're doing it together. We're playing the show, but they want to be a part of it too, and that's what I like in music as well, like music that makes me want to sing along. So it's cool. It's like we can share it in that moment too.
And that's the thing about your music as well. I obviously haven't seen you live. I've watched lots of your live videos, but you connect well with the audience. There's always a good audience connection. I watch them. I never see an audience just standing there. Like, they're always getting in, singing, having fun. It's a real, how to say, it's party atmosphere, but it's a party atmosphere. You know what I mean? Like, they're there to have fun, right?
Fun's important,
Yeah, music is entertainment. Yeah. It should be entertaining. Fun.
And that's something that we thought from the very beginning, is that we wanted to present a fun band, a good time and fun to see. Not a downer thing, not a bummer or anything like that. A good time, rock and roll, heavy metal band.
Yeah, and this new album will be it's going to be fantastic because it's out. Is it March 28th? It comes out. Is that? Yeah. That's a good month, March. It'll nice sort of early start of the year. Get it fresh into people's ears. Come next summer, like get onto the old festival circuit. Are you looking at touring Europe again soon?
Yeah, we'll be in Europe as of like May to the middle. Turn right around and do the U.S. right after.
Wow.
July.
Isn't it wonderful?
That'll be the push for that. Yeah.
Isn't it wonderful, you two? Oh, how fantastic is it? You know, you're there in your school choir. You never thought, hey, I'll be playing in Europe or playing in front of, you know, well, it's just that great. It's that, no, you wouldn't, do you? I mean, you fantasize about these things, you know.
Yeah.
And then I know I do. I mean, I'm 50 something, and I still fantasize that I'm on stage playing with like Tony Iommi and all these people. You know, every time I put an album on, I am that person playing the guitar. I am that vocalist.
Awesome. Yes.
Right.
I love it.
Every time. Because I just want, you know, and to think, I really love when people, you know, realize their dreams, you know, whether it be arena size or 5 people in a club, it's realizing your dreams and it comes out in the music, man, because the love is there, right? It's fun. And the subject matter, man, horror movies in the occult. It's endless. It's a sea of endless of influence, you know. And it's just Oh, like, man, Ripper in Black, man. I keep going about it, but Jesus, that's great. Oh dear. So, Adam, obviously, I mean, you said your influences are all they are, but who do you look at as a guitarist that you go, he's my influence, or she?
First guy that really like connected with me that way, of who I was in awe of, but also I thought had like a rock and roll power, was probably Richie Blackmore.
Yeah,
that's probably it. I loved all his riffs. He had really powerful riffs, extremely powerful riffs. His solos are kind of unhinged and wild, but good. But also his attitude on stage come across to me when I was young and always in a real bad mood. At his heart. There was something that really connected with me. He would just bash the guitar, even though he's a really technical guitar player, great guitar player. Yeah. But his attitude and the way he projected really, really grabbed me. There were other guys like Ted Nugent. So this is stuff I heard when I was a kid that really influenced the way I play or how I do riffs. And then into Manowar and stuff like that.
Oh, yes.
From the
nice guy.
Big influence. Great guy.
Oh man, I like Blackmore's blues because all good rock and roll is a blues, for me, is a blues based music, right? And
that's an important thing.
Yeah, it is. And that's another thing that's sort of getting lost. And I did a whole show about that. Is that I feel that the blues is getting lost in heavy metal and rock and roll. You know, it's sort of, we all learned the blues scales, right? So what we were taught, that's all we did all the time, constantly playing our blues notes. And then it's sort of, you can change it, but Blackmore had that kind of bluesiness to him. He had that real kind of Clapton-esque kind of feel that he could go into, you know. I
think it's important too. The type of heavy metal that I really like occurs between like 78. That's what I really, really love. I mean, I love a lot of heavy metal, but that's the stuff that's like the golden nugget for me. And one thing that I always thought about was, what were these guys listening to?
Yes.
And what were the guys that, like, they were probably all fans of Clapton's and the Blackmores and stuff like that, but also those guys were listening to like Howling Wolf and Muddy Waters and Lightning Hopkins and those kind of attitude blues players. And there's an important element there that if you're going to play that music from 78 to 84, that style, that you need to know and listen to some rock and roll and blues from the 50s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, all through that kind of stuff is very important.
Yeah, it is. You hit it on the nail, Adam. My God, if I could reach through and shake your hand, I would, because it's exactly how I feel. You know, because I'm a big Albert King fan, and love Albert King, and you know, him and Gary Moore together, there was just something special, and that blues stuff. Because you're right, you know, you had your Thin Lizzies, your Deep Purples, your Free,
and all those blend together. You know, like
all blend together.
You could go to the Yardbirds, into Led Zeppelin, John Mayall, all that stuff. All that leads to heavy metal eventually.
Yeah, it does.
It really does. The early Fleetwood Mac.
Oh yes.
Like
oh my God. Peter Green. Yeah. Peter Green, fabulous, mate.
To where Judas Priest is.
Yeah.
Judas Priest happens. That it all leads to that.
It really does. It really does. And same with vocals, Stacey. Same with vocals. You know, you know, it does come from there as well, because there's a real blues. Even though you might not think that, but there's a real sense of the blues in your vocals as well, because there's a sort of sadness and yearning into a lot of the lyric and to a lot of the way that you bring it across, and a lot of sort of how do I say this, sort of etherealness to it that blues often has. Again, I'll go back to the new album, but that particularly more so on the new album, because your voice is really, I think, the best it's ever been is on this new album. And, you know, as I said, get back, especially to things like the Cold Hearted Death. And it's just
it's basically a blues song.
It is basically a blues song.
Yeah.
It really is. It really is. And it's got this sort of beautiful production. Like, I was listening to it and I thought, is this Savage Master I'm listening to? Like, this is amazing. Like, because I wasn't expecting it. And that's the beauty of it, right? I wasn't expecting it. I'd read other reviews of this album by people that have listened to it already. And I talked to people who listened to it already. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, it's different. I'll listen to it. And then I got to that one and I thought, oh, yeah, that's a crowd pleaser. that's a crowd pleaser. Oh dear. So it must be tricky for you, Stacey. It will be tricky for you to go early catalog to new catalog, because it is a different vocal styling, isn't it? Live.
It is, but it's just, I guess it goes down to just muscle memory when you practice it. And with singing, really the most important thing is just breathing at the right spot and knowing the material really well. Yeah. And then once you do that, you're fine.
Oh, good. Well, that's the main thing, isn't it?
Some ways that we do material now that we can only songs from each album.
Yeah.
Songs.
So much material. Yeah, well, that's another thing, isn't it? Writing a set list for a live show when you've got that many albums and that much tracks, and
it's harder and harder.
Oh my God, I envy. I don't want to be you guys.
Yeah, like now we want to add stuff from the new album, but we have to play Whips and Chains. We have to play Ripper and Black. And these are songs that we have always played and always will. And then there's some songs that get lost that we want to play, like Spirit of Death.
Oh,
we play that sometimes. Sometimes we play it, sometimes we don't. It's one of my personal favorites.
Yeah, mine too.
Sometimes it gets left out because there's other material.
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing I say to a lot of singers is that, hey, you know, you got a catalog this big, you got to please yourself as well. I mean, this is at the end of the day. I mean, it's a job. I wouldn't call it a job. I think it's you're lucky buggers. But you know, you got to please yourself. If you're playing these songs, you can't give passion out to them if you don't. Playing the same over again. Oh my God, I'm doing Bridge Over Troubled Water again. You know, you do need to be happy in your space, because it comes across into the audience, because you love it, they love it, right?
You don't want to put with the material.
Right.
Bored out there doing the same old thing over and over again. You want to have the fire and happiness of doing what you want. Correct.
Yeah. It's really funny though you say that, because Maiden were here late last year, and they didn't play any of the classics. I don't know if they just played basically all the new stuff, and a lot of the audience were disgruntled, and I think that's unfair. I mean, 40 years of playing music, God, give them what they play what they want to play, man.
Oh, especially with like Maiden, I feel like the legacy of a band and function as the real band, playing the real songs. They don't fool around. They don't use tracks. They don't fake anything. They're doing it for real. And it's kind of like one of the appeals to me of Iron Maiden is that they're very strong in that respect. Is they go out there and they do what they want. And that's part of seeing them,
Yes, it is.
There's no shenanigans to it. Bruce,
no, there isn't. And that's...
They're not going to change the... Not going to do any of that stuff. A relic of the real time.
Oh, yes.
Perform at that high level, I think.
Well, and he played. Yeah, he played. They did Alexander the Great, which I love. I love that song because I like their long songs. And when he held that note, it was like 20 seconds. I counted. It's just, and he's in his late 60s.
And they don't have to do that.
No,
you have to be out there doing stuff.
Yeah. It was just spectacular. Like, I mean, I remember when I saw them first do Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner in 1990 at Donington. I was like, I almost cried, mate. It was a moment of, you won't take back from me. You can't take that from me. You can take everything you want from me, but you can't take that from me. And it's a special, and I'm sure you have the same thing in your band. There are songs that you see the same 2 or 3 guys come to every gig, and you look at them and you go, they love this one. We're giving this to those 3 or 4 guys that are always there. Come on, you're getting Ripper in Black because you love it, and that's it.
It's always Ripper in Black. Yeah.
Always Ripper in Black.
It's always.
Well, I mean, it's one of those. It's one of those songs that it sticks with you. First, it's a catchy chorus. It's a great subject matter. It's got a beautiful. I love the guitar in it. It's got this sort of DIY, sort of beautiful aspect to it. Yeah, and it just grabs you right from the first note by the balls, chucks you around and chucks you out the window, man. It doesn't hold on. It doesn't go, hey, just going to get a little bit into this. It's hard from the start. Oh dear. So I mean, the only way is up now, guys. I think for you, really.
Well, thank you.
The only way is up. If you can produce albums like that, the latest one, you should be so proud. You're so proud. I mean,
we're very
proud of it. Yeah.
Yeah, you should. Both of you, all of you, for everyone on it, everyone involved. Should be. I mean, the production. I said it again before, but I always say that the hidden member of the band is the production, right? And sometimes it can let you down. Yeah, and it's one of those things that I think that playing guitar, singing, there's something, and I'm not a religious man. There's something from God there, right? It's quite a spiritual thing, yeah. In whichever religion or non-religion you want to think about, but the studio, that's a technical thing, man. You have to have a certain magic for a good studio work. A certain madness to
definitely beyond me.
Man, we're lucky to work with producing maybe the new King Diamond now as well.
Yeah,
lucky to work with him. And he has such an ear. He's a friend of the band, and we've known him, and he knows what the band is and what it's about.
Yeah, he gets it.
And what he's trying, what era we're trying to do, what it's about, where we're going with it. So when he put his hands on it, what to do with, and that's something we hadn't had before. Most of the people we had dealt with in production, we are trying to explain to them how it's going to sound. It needs to be this. Arthur already knows.
You don't have to tell him.
He knows what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's really
he's very
wonderful.
Creative too.
And again, you need that because your music is creative. There's a lot of and don't want to get me wrong, I say this, for more say some of the more simple songs. There's still a lot of texture and a lot of dynamism in the music. So you do need it. It's not 3 chords and finish. There is a lot going on in all of your music, and for him to know it and go, yeah, that's right, I got this. Isn't that much a relief for you, right? Because you can go, I can let go myself. I don't have to keep an eye on it.
We were in all great. This is the best thing we've ever done.
Yeah, we were already very.
Just from the very first roughs he gave us of it, were impressive.
Oh man, that's wonderful. Because I'm sure that's nervous. You've gone out, you've done your bit, and you go, oh, I'm going to listen to this. And I don't know if you're like me. I can't stand hearing my own voice back. So I don't know how you do it, Stacey. It's like I'm like, no.
It's difficult.
She is like.
Yeah, I'm like that.
Yeah, because all art is painful, in my opinion. All creation is difficult. It's like giving birth, for me. And so, do you really want to remember that bit? Probably not. Move on and look at the nice bit afterwards.
Right.
But yeah, no, I mean, which studio did you record it in?
You recorded at the place Audio in
Fort Wayne, Indiana.
With a friend of ours, Dan Kennelly.
Yeah.
Tracked it for us. About a week there, and we tracked it there, and then we sent the tapes to Arthur to mix and master.
Wonderful.
And that process was probably 2 or 3 months he had the tapes. It was quite a long time, but he's a very busy guy.
Yeah.
It would take a while, but that took some time. He spent some real work on it.
Yeah.
And really did a lot to it, a lot of editing and stuff like that. So I would say it probably took us a good 4 months to create it. Not counting the demo, and we demoed the album a couple times before we recorded it, and some writing sessions. Probably 6 months altogether.
Yeah, and it comes across that way. I know you were saying earlier, you used to do albums quite regularly, and there's a longer gap between the albums. And I think it's funny, isn't it? When you in your youth, we would listen to albums. Bands would bring 2 albums out a year. You'd buy the album in January. Suddenly, there's another one out in December, and you're like, what? And they're touring and they're doing it like crazy.
Yeah. I was guilty of that too because of like I said, I liked a lot of punk music.
Yes.
And in punk, you get it done, you get it out there, you creating and keep releasing.
Yeah.
It took a little while for me to understand. Maybe we should slow down a little bit and concentrate on it a little bit more.
Well, I said it's come across that way, I'm so interested to see. I know this is not out yet, and so we've got new stuff but I'm so interested to see where you're going to go after this, because this is going to be a tough one to top.
I agree.
I think it's going to be a tough one to top, and I love the way we can look at your catalog and listen to your catalog and hear you grow. And I think that's something that is missing in a lot of bands, where they just suddenly appear. They suddenly appear. They're polished, they're there, and you're like, I want to see working out, like my teacher used to say. I want to see the notes, right? Where's the notes? Where's the hard work? And that's what I like about it, because it tickles everyone's punk sensibilities, their rock and roll sensibilities, and their heavy metal bones, and it's a very unique sound, and I think that I don't think there's anyone quite like you at the moment. There's a lot of occult bands around. There's a lot playing in that field. You can dabble in lots and lots of bands, Lucifer and all that sort of stuff. But you're quite unique, my friends. I want to say that to you, and I'm so glad you could say it. You come on, I can say it to you, because it's something I've meant to be saying to you guys for ages. Because it is, when you get to a certain age, things get quite. You've heard it all. You think you have.
Yeah, believe me, I know.
And then you put this on and you go, whoa, hang on. This is it. This is exactly it. Can we add this now again and again and again? This is it. This just tickles my. It's like rock and roll, spirit, fire, And the theming, of course, the horror movie theme is just,
I think the rock and roll part's very important, though.
Yes.
A lot of bands don't have that. A lot of bands don't have the rock and roll element, and that's
they don't.
Rock and roll vibe.
Yeah, I mean, your guitar, Adam, it's that real sort of swagger to it. There's a real swagger, and that's what you get with rock and roll. I know that you could be extremely technical. Your solos are technical, but there's a swagger to your rhythm playing and your phrasing that just melds beautifully with the rest of the band, and that's what makes you joyous.
That's very important, the attitude.
Yeah.
Oh God, yes. Yeah, you can pretend to have attitude, and you can try and fake it, but people can see straight through it. You can see straight through it. You stand there and go, you look at them and going, really? Okay. Right, well, that's all by numbers. Oh dear. And as I said, those that haven't seen you have an interesting stage presence. Your costumes, Stacey, look like they must weigh a ton. I don't know how you get around in them. Adam, how you control yourself in that mask.
It's taken some practice, definitely.
Wow.
Now it seems like second nature. It's second nature.
God, it's like.
In fact, I love the way it feels being in the outfit now.
Really?
Where you just act a little bit. Feeling of like a superhero feeling when you get all that on.
Yeah.
Like a little bigger than the normal person. You're a character now.
Yes.
You're theatrical play. Your part.
Yeah.
It's there's a lot of responsibility, but there's also a lot of freedom to it because no one can actually see you.
Yeah.
You don't have the trauma of people looking at you. They look at you as this crazy character who they're somewhat frightened by, you know?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
It's wonderful. It's so gallows. It's such like the gallows humor, as I said. It's got that real and honestly, Black Sunday is the perfect way to sum up your kind of image. That 60s Italian madness in their movies. You know, that sort of freedom that they had in their movies.
Agree.
Yeah. And it has that kind of wonderful strangeness that
a lot of things from that era too. Music and movies have this wonderful, like you're saying, this wonderful birth of freedom that's occurring in cinema and art. Things are really exploding in this kind of just huge mashup of new ideas and a new way of doing things. The same thing happens in the 70s again, but in the 60s, it's where it really kind of takes shape, I think. You know, rock and roll starts out in the 50s or whatever, but by the 60s, things really explode into this kind of craziness of artistic expression. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of movies, you have great people in the that are doing outrageously incredible pictures, and Mario Bava too. They're just cranking out things people have never seen before, vibes people have never seen on screen.
Yeah.
It's always been really inspirational to me, that era.
Oh, I agree. Like, you know, I love a bit of a gore movie myself. I'm a bit of a gore head. So when you come into the birth of the Herschel Gordon Lewis movies and all that sort of stuff, even though they're really badly made, you just love them, right? It's something
way ahead of his time, too.
Way ahead of his time.
Such a, for what could be on screen.
Yeah.
The Blood Feast, I mean, terrible, but it's incredible at the same time.
Oh, yeah. He's carrying that tongue out, which is a cow's tongue, but it's...
The sheer audacity putting on the screen, such a leap forward. It's really impressive.
Oh, mate, I remember when I very first saw The Wizard of Gore, I was probably about 14, and I was watching it in glorious Technicolor, because we had a black and white TV, and my parents just bought a color TV, and my brother bought a video of it at home. And it was like, he goes, let's watch this. And it blew my mind. It was like, what is this going on? This is exactly the way when I first heard the Sex Pistols, you know, when my brother first put on Nevermind the Bollocks. It was like, this has changed my world. This is changing everything.
Yeah.
And it was, you can always pinpoint those moments, can't you? In music and art, where you go, that changed me. My mate gave me Venom's first album on cassette. And I was walking home through the dark. I was like 14, going through the park, listening to this thing, and I literally had ran through the park. It scared the shit out of me.
Oh man, yeah. I had a heavy metal uncle that I seen occasionally as a kid. Played me in League with Satan once.
Oh,
and just that song scared the shit out of me.
Oh yeah.
I thought, this is the evilest music. The only other evil thing that matched the time I heard Black Sabbath on the radio as a kid with the bells and everything.
Oh yeah.
That really frightened me. Yeah. But Evil and League with Satan was like an extra bump because these guys, not only was the music evil, but they were literally saying they were in league with Satan.
Oh nice.
They were professing how evil they were, you know.
And it's insane how it's, because like I'm good friends with Tony from Venom Inc. and it's insane how cacophonous it was, because you know we'd all been into the punk, we knew how you know how it could be rough and ready and but that there was some sort of evil chaos in that song.
Yeah, exactly. I love the chaotic element.
Yeah,
it wasn't quite right, but that was so wonderful.
Yeah, I didn't give a care. I couldn't care that notes would drop in here and there, and it wasn't in tune. I didn't give a cutting stuff.
Interesting that you mentioned Tony, because there's three songs that we left off the album. So we released later 3 extra songs that we did for Dark and Dangerous, and one of the songs is like a kind of mini theatrical opera that I wrote. The Last Kiss. And Tony does the narration for it.
Oh, does he? Oh my God! I should talk to him about it. I didn't know that. Oh, that's cool.
I'll send you over a copy to listen to.
Could you? That? Oh my God!
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Stellar job. Yeah, he did great.
Yeah, he's a dude. He is just like he's rock and roll personified for me. Like, he's such a big unit. He's got a great voice and a good attitude. He's a nice guy. And that's what I like about you guys. That's what I love about this job that I have. I can call you, talk to you. If I'd said to 16-year-old Tony, yeah, I'll be talking to bands. So, yeah, no, they'll be in America, and you'll chat to them. They're really nice people. I would have gone, no, you can't. They're up here on the pedestal. You don't talk to them. You're like,
Tony's other band, Adam Craft, man.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
You ever listen to that stuff?
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
That's great stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to get him on the show later in the year to talk about Adam Craft, because it's something that not people remember, sadly.
Right.
Yeah. Not enough people know that stuff. And it's really quality stuff.
It's quality stuff. And he really had a fantastic sound then. Still does. I mean, he still has a incredible sound. I'm glad that he did some stuff with you. That's brilliant. It's so nice that people can do stuff together, and reach out and have fun and be creative.
We were very honored that he.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he would be as well, mate. He's that kind of guy. He'd be like, yeah, man, I love your stuff. Thanks.
Free to ask him about that.
Yeah.
I will. Do you know what? I'm going to. Tony, what was it? I don't believe it. Oh, dear. But look, thanks for coming on, guys. It's been a real pleasure, real fun.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, mate, it's just been a super chat, because I fanboyed a bit. Sorry. I'll be honest with you.
Our pleasure coming on.
Yeah,
Thank you for having us.
Look, and I think more people should hear your music. More people should hear your music, because I think that it's, again, the new album. When I get a copy, I will be reviewing it on the show. It's just a nice moment in music where it goes by quickly. You don't realize you've listened to it. I don't say I went through it once, something, got to go again. Like, it wasn't a chore. It was something that was just grabbed you. Yeah. And your vocals, Stacey, sorry. Chef's kiss. I love the work.
Thank you so much.
I love the work on this. It's sing-along, it's soulful, it's heavy. It still has your DNA, that fantastic high notes that you hit. It still has those, but it's also got that you're stinging down the register a bit in this somewhere, a bit lower, and it's quite beautiful, to be fair. And people don't say that about heavy metal, that it's beautiful, but it is. A lot of people don't realize how beautiful it can be. They just think it's a noise. Talking to people who don't listen to it, they go, "Oh, it's just noise." Go, yeah, really. Rap is just noise. This is not just noise. This is created and crafted and made well. So I really hope the album does well. I hope the tours in Europe and back in America are sold out, and more from you. I hope in the future, because I always get a smile when I see something new come from you guys. My Bandcamp pops up and it goes, and I go, oh, cool. And buy more merch. Buy their merch, listeners. Buy the merch, because it's amazing.
Thank you.
Get more shirts on you. Get more shirts on you. I'm looking forward to my new one coming. So that's going to be a cracking one. You do some great merch as well. And it just, again, the image.
Thank you.
From record covers to T-shirts to the, everything in general is just
important to us.
Right. Yeah. Right
Adam
in the ballpark.
did the design for that new shirt pre-order.
Yeah. It's good, madam.
So.
I love it.
Thank you. We try our best.
Oh, mate, and you do, and that's important, and that's where it comes from. It's trying, right? It comes across that you are giving everything you've got here. There's no holds barred here. There's no holding back, and I think that's.
Thanks so much for having us on.
Yeah,
man, pleasure. Well, is it cold where you are?
Oh yeah.
On the ground.
Yeah.
Oh, it's meant to be 30 degrees here today, but it won't get there. So. Unfortunately, so I've got the jacket on. It's like, my studio is freezing. I don't know about yours, but my studio is absolutely freezing. Don't matter what I do, it must be haunted. The spirit of rock and roll's around somewhere. Anyway, thank you for coming on. I will edit all those together. There's been a few dropouts, but it'll be all right. They'll get around it. We'll get around it.
Okay. Yeah, it's good.
Thanks, man, and hope to see you over here soon. thanks for everything. And I'll send you, when it's put together, I'll send you the release date for it and everything. Okay?
Awesome.
Thank you.
I look forward to hearing those things. Yes, okay.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye, mate.